America for letting us purge and cleanse our souls. Join me as we eliminate evil. Purge and purify. Purge and purify.
Welcome to another episode of Red Reviews. We just got back from watching the Purge election year, the third Purge movie in the Purge, which I guess you can call a franchise now. I guess you can call it a trilogy unless it moves on to a fourth one, but this series of movies seems to have kind of taken the place of Saw and Paranormal Activity before that, where it's a horror movie that comes out every year, so it becomes a yearly tradition. So I don't think they're going to stop with this one. They kind of wrap it up in the end where they could, but they also kind of course, leave just a little crack in the door open where they could move the story along for a fourth one if this one is successful enough. And since these kind of horror movies are a lower budget today in Hollywood, it doesn't take a lot of money for them to make a profit, so that's why Hollywood kind of turns them real fast, like Paranormal Activity and Saw. You can make them fairly quickly at a low budget, and you can make a profit on them very easily. So the Purge election year, the sequel to the Purge Anarchy with Frank Grillo returning, I think the only cast member to ever return in a Purge movie. All starting with the first Purge movie, the home invasion movie with Ethan Hawke, and I think they should bring Ethan Hawke back if they're going to go ahead and do a fourth one. It'd be fun for maybe Frank Grillo and Ethan Hawke to team up, kind of the caretakers of this franchise, the guy that started it and the guy that's kind of carrying it on. So this one actually, how does it hold up to the other two? And actually, I must say the like Saw and Paranormal Activity, they're all these horror movies that kind of exist in like a C level range. If you were to grade them, like some ranging all the way from C minus to C plus, but none of them like really ever break out of that kind of range. Like, well, I mean, they're decent. They do what they need to do, and they don't do anything more than that. But I got to go a little higher on this one, and I got to give this one. I'm going to go rating right off the bat. I'm going to give this one a B, and we'll go into that on why. As actually, this one was actually really decently good. Surprisingly, usually when you get to the third one in a franchise, like if we look at Halloween or Jason or all of them, or even the Saw movies or Paranormal Activity, or just name any franchise, once you get to a certain number, we got the formula down, but then it just starts to drag. It's just more of the same. Fun thing about the Purge is they've created this kind of world here in this event of the Purge where all crime is legal for 12 hours. But you can really take that and go anywhere with it because it's not limited to just like a killer slasher franchise, just following that one slasher around her. You have a night where anything could happen, so you can tell numerous stories. And the more they tend to go out into the world or the Purge is taking place here in Washington, the more interesting it gets. So this one even goes beyond where the second one. We got it. First one was strictly just the home invasion, so we got to experience the Purge from inside a home, where in the second one we got to break out and see what it's like in the streets. And this one, even though we're in the streets, but we see even more of Washington and more of the chaos. And the more chaos they show, it seems like the more these movies tend to be. We want to see what it is, this world that they inhabit, how this actually starts to affect on people. They get so riled up and jazzed up, and this is like their big one night. This is their Super Bowl if they were a football team, to go out and release all of their anger. They have one night to do it, so everyone looks forward to it. But what does that do to the psychology of the mindset of this world that all these people inhabit, where one night out of the year for 12 hours, you can do whatever it is you want, and murder is. So, that guy that cut you off on the freeway, or that guy that screwed you at the gas station, or whoever it is, they're a target. So it'd be weird to see the other 364 days out of the year how people treat each other, because you'd feel like you wouldn't want to get on anyone's bad side just for the fact that they could come back after you for the Purge night. But in this one, we have the Founding Fathers. It's an election year, obviously, so they're up for re-election against this new senator, and her family was killed in a previous Purge night, so she's very much anti-Purge. And it looks like she has a chance to win over the Founding Fathers, and her platform is to end the Purge. This has gone far enough, and this night destroys lives. It's all about the rich getting richer, and they kind of explain it in the second one of how the Purge really just kind of cuts off the bottom percentile of people out there, the homeless people. So that's how it kind of keeps down the um, the job aspect of that, and how economics tend to be doing better. But what it's really doing is just the people that can't defend themselves are the ones that are getting the blunt force of the purge for the most part, and so it's making the rich richer and the poor suffer for it. So she's had enough of it, and so that's her platform. The founding fathers are not having that, so they're going to take her out tonight. And the interesting aspect, if you watch the other two, when the warning goes off of the rules for the purge, the very few rules that there are, is that all government officials are excluded, as you cannot attack a government official. This one, they remove that policy only for the fact that they can go after her. But of course now there's all these other radical factions that are going to go and try and take out the founding fathers. So it's a fight to keep her alive. Frank Grillo is now on the senators. Personal detail. She's kind of like the Mike Banning from London has Fallen, Olympus Has Fallen. He's there to protect her, to get her through the night, to try and survive this crazy purge night. And of course, we have to go on this adventure because we can't just stay in one room. We did that in the first one, so now we have to go out into the streets. She's being hunted by this kind of paramilitary team hired by the new founding fathers. And of course, they come across all these other survivors and all these other purgers, and we just see all the wacky antics that people are releasing onto the world, the crazy outfits. That's what I like about this is on the surface when you watch this movie, you're just like, man, these people are insane. But then at the same time, you're like, well, if you look at the world they inhabit, this is a big deal for them, and we've all had that moment of rage. Now, maybe not to the extreme that the people in this movie do, but we've all had that moment of just anger. And how would we release if we just were uncontrolled? If we lived in a world, or there was a time where we didn't have any rules or any laws, what would you do with yourself for those 12 hours? There are, like this movie, there were the people that would stay indoors and take cover and shelter and hide, and there are people that would take to the streets and do whatever they please. And that's an interesting aspect of humanity. You probably read more into that than this movie tends to, because it is just a kind of a horror movie. But it had some nice jump scares. It had really good tension building music. The action was fun. The costumes were great. They finally have upped it to a level where everybody has a fun mask. You see it in the trailers, all the people dressed up like old presidents. The girl that looks like the Statue of Liberty. The girl with the white face says "Kiss me." I like the car. It's all covered in Christmas lights. It's weird, but it's just so out of place, and you have to do a double take at it. It's just a car covered in Christmas lights, but it's just so the way they have it, so ominous looking. So everything is like it is in our world, but it's just slightly off and out of place in this, and makes it kind of an eerie setting where anything can happen. And in the Purge night, it always does. So I actually would recommend, if you are into the Purge movies or thriller or tension, or not so much horror slasher, although there's a few aspects of that in here, that I would suggest you go look at the Purge election year. And you don't have to see so much of any other two to really appreciate this one. So go check out the Purge. I'm going to actually give it a B. I was not expecting that at all. I figured it would fall right there in the C range. I figured it's the third one in the series. It probably peaked with the second one, and we got to see what's going on outside with Frank Grillo's character. But they hit a strong note with bringing Frank Grillo back, I think. If they go forward, I hope they continue to expand on this universe. The kind of at the end, and we'll go into spoilers here, so it looks like the senator actually does get elected, so she becomes president on the platform that she's going to end the purge. And there's a quick radio broadcast right there at the end saying that, well, now there is the faction of the people that supported the founding fathers and support the purge, and there's the people that support her. And now they're kind of the ones that supported the founding fathers are rising up, causing riots in the streets. So I don't know if the next Purge movie will not actually take place on the Purge, and we'll just see the aftermath now of putting into effect no Purge. So it'll be the people that have been affected by the Purge saying that she did the right thing, and then you have the people that are for the Purge rising up, and you're going to have this kind of civil war. It'll be a good way to keep kind of with the politics of what they've kind of established so far. So go check out the Purge election year, the third one in the series, and I'll catch you next time right here on Red Reviews.